Welcome to the 82nd edition of the Sales Podcast. It's time to get your bow tie on and stop sucking at social media. Welcome to the 82nd edition, my friends. This is Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host, coming at you live. As I record this, when you listen to it, it won't be live. But hey, I am live, as always, when I record this. It is August 20th. I'm a couple of days behind. I was in the hospital with Chuck Norris. He was shot, and the bullet is still in critical condition. So, we're keeping an eye on that. You can never go wrong with a Chuck Norris joke. You know what I'm saying? It's August 20th, 2014, and we have thunderstorms in Southern California. What is the world coming to? Just got back from Podcast Movement in Dallas. It was the first time ever, the inaugural. Great event, met some cool people, got some good ideas on this podcast I'll be implementing here actually today. And moving forward, you'll see some improvements, I would hope, certainly some change. I heard a guy a while back said, if you don't like change, I hope you like being irrelevant. Ouch. So today we have Mr. Sebastian Rusk. I actually met him at the National Speakers Association conference back in early, when was that? Early July. So great guy, funny guy, passionate guy. Love his story. But before we jump into that, let's get into the Sales Podcast Creed, which is today is my day. I work diligently towards my goals, which are bigger than me. I bite off more than I can chew because only then will I truly know my current limits, and surpassing them becomes my new goal for today. Through education, accountability partners, and bold, decisive action, today will be better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better yet. I'm ready to produce. So now let's bring on my bow tie wearing friend, Mr. Sebastian Rusk. Sebastian Rusk, fellow speaker, author of Social Media Sucks, ! But then open brackets, right? If you don't know what you're doing. Welcome to the Sales Podcast, man. How are you?
What's happening, Wes? Thanks for having me, brother.
Well, look, man, so we just met. I loved your whole persona. You got the bow tie going on. We didn't talk about this, but when I was bagging groceries in high school, they made us start wearing ties. And after I'd been there about a year, so I wore a bow tie as a form of protest at the bright young age of 16. So I think you and I were kind of related.
It has no correlation whatsoever to the bow tie of today that I rock, but I did once upon a time in high school work at Johnny Rockets, and we danced on tables and sang into ketchup bottles with a bow tie on.
Very nice. So what is your story, man? For our listeners that don't know you, can you give us a little thumbnail sketch of who you are and what you do?
Well, I can't tell you my whole story because then you won't buy the book, but I'll give you a 30,000-foot perspective. How's that sound?
I thought you were going to say because then we would be bored and wouldn't buy the book. But yeah, go ahead. 30 seconds.
Sure, absolutely. 30,000 foot. I don't know, at 30 seconds I can squeeze it all in, but I'll try hard. So I started my career pretty early on as an entrepreneur because I had a daughter at 22. So you learn real quick what hustle's all about. So I'd moved across the country and taken several sales jobs. And then once I got settled in Southern California, I think it was 2002, I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I jumped into the world of entrepreneurship and did some direct marketing and lead generation services within the real estate realm. Then we all know what happened in 2008. Banks stopped lending and mortgage brokers went out of business and either hung themselves or went and got a job. So I found myself back in Miami in 2008, starting over. It took me 2 years to wrap my head around the fact that I had to start over. And then I was getting ready to go see Anthony Robbins out in your neck of the woods in Long Beach. And I called my friend in San Diego and worked for Tony, and she gave me all the details. And she said, oh, by the way, my best friend who actually works with Tony and travels with him lives in Miami Beach. You might want to link up and be a good contact for you. So we did just that. And prior to meeting up with this individual, I had sent over a video that I had shot for my marketing business. And I said, hey, just take a look at this real quick. You're like pretty much a perfect stranger, so I'd love to have your feedback. And she just went absolutely bananas. She's like, dude, your energy on camera is fantastic. You totally need to have a YouTube show. And I'm like, great, what am I going to talk about? Real estate marketing? I mean, back in 2008, that was, a four-letter word. So I thought, well, there's a lot of buzz within the social media space. I've been screwing around on MySpace since, early 2005. Social buzz, maybe a TV show, social buzz TV. Well, those three words I sent over to my designer, and 3 days later came back to what is now the social buzz TV logo. So I was like, great, I got a brand. I can shoot some videos. I figured out video editing, way to streamline the process, and just basically teach people about social media. Well, what I found was that it had to be more than just let me teach you what you need to know about social media. You actually had to walk them through that process and build relationships with people and help them know what they don't know that they don't know. And through that process, we've been able to create a business and a revenue stream, because I didn't have a revenue stream when I launched Social Buzz TV. As I started to go to networking events, then started to do my own networking events, and then I started to host social media boot camps and meet people. People would say, hey, listen, I've met you at one of your events. I've been to one of your boot camps, or D, all of the above. Maybe you can help me out with my social media. So we launched the agency in November 2011. It took almost a year to figure out how we were going to make money with this, because I was generating revenue initially with the boot camps, but I'm talking like, I wasn't breaking any records. We had 15, 20 people in a room paying $30 or $40. But it was exciting to know that people were actually paying me to set something up on Facebook or set something up on Twitter, something that I recreationally enjoyed anyway. I'm now getting paid to do. So we fast forward to 2014. I had no idea that I would be this core focus of the brand and actually the brand ambassador for a majority of our agency clients. So if you're a client of our agency, we are handling your social media strategy, executing, creating content, managing your community. And then if you've got a cool product, service, or brand that the bow tie can endorse, then I'm talking about your product, endorsing your product, using your product, recommending your product, doing events around your product. So we've created a real category of one, in my opinion. And then we've, with the book coming out a couple of months ago, that has just kicked open so many incredible doors. I feel extremely blessed with everything that's happening right now. It's happening so fast, but I believe, Wes, you finally reach a point in time that you look back and say, well, my hard work is paying off. So, like I said, I'm really excited about where we're at right now and everything that's happening. And I just enjoy helping people better understand what social media is all about, why they need it for their brand. And that's really what the book talks about. It tells my story. I believe we're living in an age of storytelling. We're living in an age of disruption. And I believe the book hits on both points and that was really my goal. My goal is to tell you my story because hopefully you resonate with it. I'm sure you will. And then secondly, is just to basically give you my unapologetic, in-your-face opinion on where we're at with this, and brands doing it right and brands doing it wrong.
So let's talk about storytelling. I've had a couple of folks on. Actually, I just interviewed before you Kim Walsh-Phillips. She does a good bit of social media marketing for Dan Kennedy and Glazer Kennedy Inner Circle. But we didn't get into storytelling. What does that mean? Can you elaborate on that? And how can our listeners take that and apply it to their own business?
Well, let's just use a story. So I was cast for a reality show about 2 years ago. A little over 2 years ago on Fox, and I had to fly to New York to meet with the show producers just for the day. So I was literally out at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was back on my couch by 6 p.m. But when I got to the city, my meeting was only 15 minutes long. So naturally, having not spent any significant time in New York City, I wandered over to Times Square like any logical tourist would do. And as I'm standing there, Wes, I realized that I'm standing in the advertising mecca of the world, yet everyone is looking down at their phones. I found that so not only exciting, but encouraging at the same time. Storytelling is what? It allows people to talk about what they like and what they care about. And if brands can figure out how to become the go-to source for what they do by providing value, by telling stories, by enrolling people. I believe it's about enrolling people into the story, Wes, because anybody can just tell a story. But the goal is to be able to enroll someone into that story so that an emotional connection is created. And I think the days of buy my product and push and shove your message down consumers' throats are gone. The days of peer recommendation and word of mouth being scalable and customer service being scalable and social media really helping to contribute to that entire process. I believe storytelling is the fundamental foundation of every brand's marketing message from here on out.
Dude, this sucks, okay? I'm all about cramming it down their throats, right? You're going to buy this right now. What's it going to take to make you go home with this right now? And if we can have delivery on Tuesday or Wednesday, which would be better for you? Are you telling me that doesn't work anymore?
That reminds me of that one Jerky Boy skit.
The Jerky Boy?
Like, yeah. He goes, I live about an hour away. It's a little far. Don't worry about that. You know, the guy comes on the lot. I grab him by his neck. I throw him against the hood of the car. I say, you're going to buy that freaking car. Yeah. That does not work anymore. And I constantly ask that question by a show of hands, virtual hands in this case, how many people like being sold? Yep. And I believe that 99% of the room would not raise their hand. There's always one.
Yep.
But, people don't want to be sold. They want to I always say the buying decision has already been made. When they are ready to buy your product, if they are part of your ecosystem, and the way that you get them into your ecosystem is you build a community around your brand and you provide content to them that they like and look forward to receiving. Once the buying decision is the time comes along, you're already in their face because you've provided so much value. You've given them so much value. I mean, I keep coming back to that. You listen to them. You listen to to your community. You engage with your community. You thank your community. I mean, it's just simple, basic things that we have seen somewhere along the line to lose our way on. People say, "How do I build my Twitter following?" I say, "Why don't you start with following people and then telling them good morning or hello or how are you and really." Become human. My buddy Brian Kramer says, B2B's gone, B2C's gone. It's about H to H. It's about human to human. And I definitely believe that too. And I don't think that B2B obviously and B2C are not a thing of the past. They're both models that exist, but behind every B2B is a C. And then now we're living in this world of being human. I don't know if you saw last week that the CIA tweeted that it was like their 3-year anniversary on Twitter and that, no, they do not have the location of Tupac Shakur. So that just goes to show that,
the Central Intelligence Agency said that?
Yes, they tweeted it last week. Which was brilliant because that's just that is just a great way of saying we are human beings. And I believe that brands and large brands especially are going to start implementing executives like a CCO, a chief caring officer. I believe departments will be there to just simply care about the customer's experience. Not customer service, that's defense. The customer experience and how the customer feels, because I believe how the customer feels, that emotional tie you have with the customer dictates the longevity of that customer client.
I like that. So customer experience is key. Customer service, I'm going to jot this down or I'll forget. Customer service is reactive, right?
Absolutely. That's defense. It's not really, it doesn't have to be reactive. Again, customer service is there to fix a problem.
Yep. Well, and I always tell people, too, if you promote yourself as one of your differentiators is your great customer service, you're really going to set yourself up for failure because everybody has a different definition of what customer service is, and it's hard to live up to somebody's, expectations. Under promise, over deliver, right?
Well, I think of the story from the book that Tony Hsieh from Zappos wrote called Delivering Happiness, and how he literally built the Zappos brand from the inside out. He literally started internally with the culture of the company and then built it out from there. But I remember being told a story of a guy misdialing the Zappos customer service department, and he was intoxicated one night, and he was looking for a pizza to be delivered, and the customer service rep stopped and actually ordered the guy a pizza. Now, I'm not saying call customer service and pretend you're drunk tonight and try to get a free pizza, but that is an excellent display of customer service. They didn't have to do anything. And it happens a lot with me and my many travels with the bow tie. I'll show up to a hotel room, and just because I said that is where I was going to be staying or I've checked in, there'll be a bottle of wine, there'll be a box of chocolates, there'll be something there for them to say, hey, listen, we were listening when you checked in, and we are really glad you're here. And that's becoming more and more of the norm. I remember a story that my buddy Gary Vaynerchuk tells that he believes this is the way brands will market moving forward. So you wake up in the morning, you'll tweet or post going for a run. You go for your workout, you complete your day, you go home. Next day comes around, doorbell rings, it's the delivery guy. He's got a box with 6 pairs of Nikes in them. Sounds pretty cool, huh? It is far more cost effective for a brand to socially listen to people that are potentially, not even are, potentially consuming their products and gamble on the fact that if they take a shot and send someone that's talking about going for a run, their product that they can use on a run, they'll have a customer for life. And I don't know about you, Wes, but I tweet I'm going for a run. Next day, door shows up, door knock happens, 6 pairs show up on my front door. I'm in. I'm never looking to any other brand ever. Well, I might, but chances are I'm going to be a Nike fan for years to come. And I just think that that's really where we're at. The social listening aspect, people go, I don't use Twitter. I don't like Twitter. I go, you don't like Twitter because you don't get Twitter. If you could wrap your head around the idea that Twitter is the most powerful website on the planet, and I'm going to go on a little rant real quick with Twitter because I need to drive the point home just a little bit more. Twitter has replaced the gatekeeper. Twitter is the new telephone. Search.twitter.com. Write that down. Search.twitter.com allows you to go and find any conversation that's happening right now on Twitter. I need a chiropractor. How many people may have said that? You can search for keywords, phrases, negative tweets, positive tweets within a geographic location, a mile radius. I mean, it is absolutely insane, the plethora of information that's out there. We need to understand that the reason that these social platforms were created, when Mark Zuckerberg was in his dorm room at Harvard, he said, I want to create a platform that allows people to do what? To share their lives. And that's what we do. We share our lives on Facebook, on Twitter, we write on a blog, we shoot videos, but a majority of these conversations are happening on Facebook and on Twitter. And if a brand doesn't have an internal team or is contracting an outside agency, like socialbuzztv.com, shameless plug, then they are being grossly negligent to not only the potential opportunities out there, but for their brand overall. I mean, imagine, Wes, you say, I'm looking for a good car mechanic, and Mike's car mechanic tweets you back and says, happy frickin' Monday. I just saw your tweet. We're around the corner. If we can help or give you a free estimate, let us know. In fact, because we're Twitter friends, we're going to go ahead and give you 20% off. You'd be barreling around the corner, pulling your car in there to get it serviced, right? Why? Because the need got met, and it was completely unexpected, and you got something. They showed you that they gave a rip. Now, the brands that are not on Twitter are just simply missing out. And it's not my job to convince you on why or why not that you need to be on Twitter. If you have not been around for the past 10 years and seen how these monstrous platforms have evolved and how people share their every nook and cranny of their lives on it, then that's just on you. I'll just catch you on the flip side. I'll be in the back of the room with a big fat cup of I told you so. All right, parentheses, end rant.
So you're mentioning a lot about Twitter. Would you say the same is true for Facebook? I mean, I see a lot of people, and personally, I use Facebook more, at least for like local stuff, than I do Twitter. I have more local friends, and I ask, who's a good chiropractor? Who's a good carpenter? And I guess the rules apply for both. Would you say?
Yeah, they really do. Facebook is, again, another opportunity for us, or a platform, rather, for us to share our lives with other people and connect with people. And I love the fact of being able to really just instantly. I mean, if I meet you at a networking event or at a conference, I can literally type in your name and connect with you instantaneously. I don't even have to remember what your name is, because chances are you'll remember mine. You can hit me up, and it's vice versa. So you're always connected. Sometimes we even forget who we've connected with. We're connecting at such a fast, rapid rate. But Twitter is a nonstop, 365, 24/7, perpetual conversation that never stops. I follow you, you follow me. Just because I follow you doesn't mean you have to follow me. I can tweet you, you can tweet me. Those are public tweets. And then I can also DM you, which is a private message as well. Twitter is not complicated. It can't be. There's only 140 characters. So if you're not using Twitter right now, you need to. And when you sign up for a Twitter account, make sure you add your profile picture. No one wants to follow an egg.
I don't know. Well, no, you're right. No eggs. All right. So how do people get good at storytelling? You know, you mentioned that. We have a short interview here today just based on time. It's not easy, right? It's not natural for most people.
No, but when you realize, so if you're talking about, you know, your company sells widgets, you know, you're not going to just get up and start talking about the widget and how awesome the product is. You'd be more inclined to allow people that are already consuming your widget to tell the story for you, or perhaps you're telling the story on their behalf. So when you think about how much storytelling makes sense, because if we've got two options, option A, be sold, option B, be offered a story that provides value to potentially provide a solution to your problem. And I think a majority would go with B. So storytelling essentially allows us to tell a story and create and share value within that story. Again, the story, if structured correctly, a story is completely constructed around the problem. Because you can tell that story and solve a problem and create value all at the same time through that story. And you've achieved the same goal as if you just shoved the message down someone's throat and said, here, buy my stuff.
Right. Very nice. Well, I know you've got another call coming up. Where is the best way people can find you on the web? How can they connect with you and learn your story?
Well, you can go to my website, SebastianRusk.com. That's spelled Sebastin. Last name is Rusk, R-U-S-K, SebastianRusk.com. That's my website. You can sign up for my email newsletter, stay in touch with my happenings, pick up a copy of my book or several copies. If you need somebody to come make sense of social media, I can most definitely do that. What we did with the book launch, Wes, is I wanted to really create some biz dev opportunities with this book launch and get strategic with it. So every book stop that I do, or every time I get booked to speak, it's always a Social Media Sucks live event. And then I have structured deals on a monthly basis for potential customers and clients and brands to buy my book in bulk. And the more books you buy, the more you get. So there's opportunities for me to do a Skype training and a Google Plus Hangout. And heck, I even fly to your office and do a book signing in your office if you buy a certain amount of books. So if you go to SebastianRusk.com, click on book. It'll be bring you right to my book page with those options on there. If you have any questions or anything, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But yeah, man, this has been a blast. Thanks for having me. It was great to meet you in San Diego.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you. Thanks for taking the time. I got a copy of your book right here on my desk. I'm reading right now. And thanks for sharing your words of wisdom on the Sales Podcast.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Have a great day. How do you like that, huh? Twitter has replaced the telephone. It bypasses the gatekeepers. That is definitely true. As I've always said, I've got a love-hate relationship with social media, but it is obviously here to stay. But like any tool, it is just a tool. It is a medium. It is a means for you to get your word out. It's a means for you to do research and to connect. If you're still new to it, you need to join various sites and platforms and listen. Pay attention for a while. Treat it just like you would walk into a backyard barbecue. You don't just start passing out cards and asking for orders and asking for people to set appointments. You'll be shoved in the pool quicker than you can say, what the heck? So But go back and listen to this. I love what Sebastian's talking about. It's all about H2H, human to human. I wrote a blog post a while back about all business is personal, and it really is. You're connecting with these people at a personal level, even though they may write a check to your business. If you're a salesperson or a sales manager for a company, they're still buying you. So all business is still personal. I love his resilience. You notice I've had several people on now that had made it big in real estate, and then things collapsed in 2008. Brings to mind, Dan Kennedy's old adage that 1 is the loneliest number, and it's the scariest number, meaning one, if you have one source, one computer that you work on, you're in trouble, right, if that thing goes down. If you have one source of leads. People were killing it with leads on Facebook, and now that is all dried up unless you're willing to pay to play. So if you ever have one source of income, you're at risk. So you need to figure out ways to diversify your portfolio, your business, all your lead generation. It's just so important. So, like I said, go back, re-listen to this, and I've got a little report for you. Once all of this social media stuff starts working and your phone rings and visitors come to your place of business, your restaurant, your dry cleaner, they call in, they want an appointment. How do you handle it from that point on? Now, hopefully your social media just took over, they love you, and they just are calling to give you a credit card. But that doesn't always happen. So to understand what to do from that point on, check out thesalesagenda.com. That will redirect to a page on my site, and I've got a free report on the sales agenda that I followed for many years and still follow roughly to this day. But when I was in B2B, right, selling computers and technology, I learned this process, and it changed the way I did business. It changed how I spoke with decision makers, how I set appointments, and I showed up with questions rather than showing up to be peppered. And so, again, check that out, thesalesagenda.com. That is your free resource to help you grow your sales. As always, I thank you for listening. Be sure to share this with friends and family and coworkers. And as always, remember to sell different.